Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is facing backlash after sharing a CNN interview with Christian nationalist Douglas Wilson, a man who's argued women shouldn't be allowed to vote and has even downplayed the horrors of slavery. Hegseth, who attends a church tied to Wilson, reposted the interview on X with the phrase, "all of Christ for all of life." Wilson's vision is a country where only Christians can hold office, same-sex relationships are criminalized, and public expressions of other faiths are banned. Take a listen to what Wilson has to say about women.
Women are the kind of people that people come out of.
So you just think they're meant to have babies? That's it. They're just a vessel.
No, it doesn't take any talent to simply reproduce biologically. The wife and mother, who is the chief executive of the home, is entrusted with 3 or 4 or 5 eternal souls.
I'm here as a working journalist, and I'm a mom of 3.
Good for you.
Is that an issue for you?
No, it's not automatically an issue.
Josh and Amy Prince, along with their 4 kids, moved here from Washington State.
Do you see Amy as your equal?
Yes and no. In the sense that we're both saved by grace, we're absolutely on equal footing. But we have very different purposes, God-given.
But do you see yourself as the head of the household, as the man?
He is the head of our household. Yes, and I do submit to him.
So like moving here was ultimately your decision.
Yes.
That's a great
example.
Wilson says in his vision of a Christian society, women as individuals shouldn't be able to vote. His fellow pastors, Jared Longshore and Toby Sumter, agree.
In my ideal society, we would vote as households. And I would ordinarily be the one that would cast the vote, but I would cast the vote having discussed it with my household.
But what if there's your wife doesn't want to vote for the same person as you?
Right. Well, then that's a great opportunity for a good discussion.
There are some who have gone so far as to say that they want the 19th Amendment repealed.
I would support that. And I'd support it on the basis that the atomization that comes with our current system is not good for humans.
And Wilson, a veteran himself, is unapologetic about his view that women shouldn't be in certain leadership or combat roles.
Looking at the leadership page for Christ Church, it's all men. Do you accept women in leadership roles in the church and government?
In the church, no.
Why?
Because the Bible says not to.
Wilson is part of a broader Christian nationalist movement making inroads with the Trump administration, with a newly created faith office led by evangelical pastor Paula White Cain, and people seen right outside the White House entrance praying and speaking in tongues.
We are standing on the soil of the White House, and we are declaring your word.
How precious!
And now there's a monthly prayer service at the Pentagon, initiated by Hegseth, Wilson's highest level connection to the administration.
It's not organizationally tied to us, but it's the kind of thing we love to see.
For his part, Hegseth has publicly praised Wilson.
Now we're standing on the shoulders of a generation later, the Doug Wilsons and the others.
You know, one of the things I wish people could see is the reactions to those of us who are on the panels when we're showing these stories. And Kelly, I wish I had you on full blast for everybody to see.
No!
Just take it. Come on, give us what was going through your mind.
As someone who has grown up in the church, specifically a mega church that was conservative and predominantly white for many years, this just doesn't make sense. Biblically, there were women leaders in the Bible, for crying out loud, that we revere. You know what I'm saying? Like Deborah, both Marys, Esther, list goes on. And it's just, I am speechless right now, and I usually am not, but it just takes the cake for how insecure these men are. Because that's really what it boils down to. You don't want women to have power because you yourself don't think you are worthy of the power that you have. And in order to preserve the power that you have, you must quell any threat that you see fit. Even if that's your wife, or your mom, or your daughter. It is very weird to me that is a school of thought that men can just do what they want. I'm sorry, we hemorrhage once a month. Hemorrhage. And still get stuff done. You catch a cold and you're out for 5 weeks. And you think you are the stronger sex? You think you can get stuff done? Right? Like, presidents' wives have on record, like in historical records, been the reason why this country has moved in the way that it does. And you think that it was just because of men? And this isn't a man-bashing post. That's not what I'm saying. But it takes 2 to tango on a lot of this stuff. And you thinking that only men can rule the world is the reason why the world is the way it is right now. And it sucks. So, like, that was bizarre to me. That's just bizarre.
Well, Joy, you know, of course, we can talk about this being bizarre, but it's also hypocrisy on full blast. So we have, this is a man, Hegseth, who came into the Defense Department, who originally said women shouldn't be in the military, and we've heard other views that he's espoused about women. I feel like even if this video, these interviews came out before his confirmation hearings, he still would have been approved, because ultimately this is the view of Trump and so many of the evangelicals, even though Trump is the least devout Christian person. Obviously, he serves as their avatar, but is this not hypocrisy on full blast for a man who changed up to say that women should be in the military just so he can get approved?
Look, to be clear, this is not, it's bizarre to me. I don't understand this, but it's not bizarre in that no one believes this. There are a good number of people who believe this, and that's okay for them to believe it. That's their business, their religion. I'm not involved in that. What's the problem is when we put these people in positions of authority and power, and their thing isn't to just do it in their home. It's to then migrate it to our federal policy, our state policy, our local policy. Pete Hegseth, he can believe whatever wackadoo thing he wants to believe. But when he tries to put it on the military, as the case may be here, or in some other agency, that is where the issue lies. That is what we need to be talking about. And it is so important that we make sure folks know who's out there. And then we can say, look, we're not crazy. And if you are a white woman who is observing this, you know these people are out here because they're in your family. And some of us Black ladies, we know we got a few of them too in our family. It's not the majority of men. And so we don't want to overestimate that. But we do have to say this is what we're fighting against. This type of belief is encroaching itself into our policy. And that's what we have to ward off. Donald Trump isn't supportive of this, but he'll use it if it gives him a greater handle on power. He's not going to get everyone else, but he's looking to get white men and perhaps some other men who believe in this foolishness. They want to build their lives and their success off the backs of women, and they see our advancement as, you know, they're undermining. We know that's out here, and this is why we need white women to be more engaged. Most white women are not that woman that was standing next to her husband, and God bless her. She has every right to feel that way. But they should not be in positions where they make decisions for the rest of us.
And so, Eugene, I want to tie this into the last segment when we talked about Mamdani, because so many people have called him an anti-Semite because of his phrase, globalize the intifada, which he has not used again, has walked a little bit back. But so many people have used that and him saying that he'll arrest, if he was mayor, he would arrest Netanyahu because of the international warrant for his arrest. He would enforce that law. And they're using that to call him an anti-Semite and a religious extremist. And we've seen people from all sides of the political aisle come out with various Islamophobic comments about Mamdani. But here we are seeing religious extremism going off of Joy's point, within the government. This is the head of the Department of Defense who tweets out all of Christ for all of life. Someone said in the confirmation hearings that he wants to use the Defense Department as the flaming sword of Christ. This is a man who said that when he was out in the club one night, talked about killing all Muslims. Can you talk about the hypocrisy and how people will go after Mamdani for a comment he doesn't even use anymore and has no strong history of that we know of anti-Semitism, with a man who is promoting religious extremism? He shared this interview on his actual feed. Can you speak to that hypocrisy, if you see it as hypocrisy as well?
Yeah, it's definitely hypocrisy. And the thing is this, right? You fundamental right-wing fundamental Christianity is more of a threat than probably any other religion in America. And because the issue is that, Christianity is always going to be the justification, right? Or further in those aims and those goals. The thing is, the bigger the issue is that the way that these people view the role of women is absolutely disgusting. To say that, hey, you want to eradicate the 19th Amendment and take away a woman's right to vote is absolutely disgusting. One of the belly fights that's rising up daily is that the fight between Republican men and Republican women, actually being led by MTG, on how Republican men handle Republican women and the lack of leadership roles and opportunities for Republican women. And I think that, look, all this ties in together. You're going to see going forward, especially with this Trump administration and their faux Christianity, right? And how they decide to interact with different faiths and whatnot, you're going to see more of this extremism. But the thing is this, you have the Secretary of Defense that had to promise that he wouldn't drink on the job because he has this huge drinking problem and other more failings. I wouldn't expect anything different than hypocrisy.
And can we also just say shame on Republican women, to my colleague's point, for not speaking out against it? No, Marsha Blackburn doesn't believe this. She's about to run for governor. Okay?
No, I hear you. I hear you.
Gandhi doesn't believe this. She's the equal of Secretary Hegseth. So the chief of staff of the president is a woman. The head of the faith office is a woman. But they have remained silent here.
Right, and I think that some people, I feel like many people, call this out and call out Republican women as they rightfully should. And one of the things people also talk about is that this shouldn't be platformed because it's promoting these, but we need to know what's going on. We need to be aware of the people who are influencing the people who are running our government, because it really is telling. And so even though people may talk about there's division, this man's church is on the rise, and people like Hegseth promoting him is only going to make them grow bigger. And so we need to make sure that we're calling attention to it. And we're always going to call attention to stories like this and the hypocrisy of this government and the hypocrisy of any of these officials out there claiming to represent the people. We are always going to do that every day right here on the Black Star Network.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long, with content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute that content have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the next generation of social media.